Welcome to Buffy's Flavorful Journey. Today I'm going to show you how to turn a cake mix into the best cake ever. Now, kind of starting at the end, coming back, I'm showing you the final product here. Getting ready to flip it out. Just showing you that's the top of the cake. It's fully baked. Now let's flip it out. And let's pray that it's going to come out in one piece, which I know it will. Voila! Look at that. It's a beautiful cake. Beautiful. A masterpiece. See, there's just a little bit stuck around there at the top of the Bundt pan, but otherwise, came out pretty clean. What more can you ask for when you're making a Bundt cake? And here we are making the Duncan Hines Perfectly Moist Lemon Supreme cake. Now this is the box cake mix, and here's the ingredients that it asks you to use. But we're gonna Buffetize this. So we're not gonna use that. Good. And there it is as far as time for baking. So let's go ahead and get started. There's the cake mix. I'm gonna dump it into my KA. The whole bag. Next up is a 3.4 ounce box of lemon jello pudding, and you can use the instant or the cook and serve. I usually use the instant. Dump that in there as well. And this is a 5-quart KA mixer. Now add 1 cup of milk. It's at room temperature instead of the 1 cup of water that the box cake mix asks for. That's the first swap. Gonna add 2 tablespoons of vanilla. Shake it up before you use it. Almost forgot to do that. And this vanilla comes from Costco. I love this vanilla. It's about $17 a bottle. But that's well worth it because vanilla is not cheap. And this is not imitation. This is pure vanilla extract. So there goes those 2 tablespoons. Now, the mix doesn't ask for that, but I add it. There's the corresponding frosting. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of that to the mix as well. Now, this is something I saw on TikTok. This lady did that, and she says it makes your cakes awesome, and I must agree. It gives that a little flavor. Getting it all off that spoon there. Now this is creme bouquet. Donna at Beautiful Creations 2, her web, or not website, but YouTube channel, she talks about this, so I use it. Also Chef Jeffrey uses it too. I use about a capful. I don't really measure, I just pour it in there. Here's another swap. 6 large eggs. The mix calls for 3 eggs. I add 6. The extra eggs will make your cake richer and moister tasting, along with the milk instead of water. And I tap my eggs on the counter. I found that they crack a lot better that way, and less chance of getting eggshells in your batter. Now, one thing I have started doing is I crack my eggs in a separate container, just in case they're bad, and you don't want that to go in your batter, to ruin your batter. These last 2 were a little stuck to the carton, as you can see there. And the last one is even more stuck. But you work around when you're in the kitchen sometimes. Now this last egg, like I said, is really stuck in there. So I had to improvise a little bit because I couldn't get it to come up out of the carton. So I held the other eggshells down and poured it in. Sorry about my big head. Growing up, my father said I had a big cabbage head. So sorry, got in the camera there. Had to go get a towel to kind of tidy up from the eggs. 2 sticks of melted unsalted butter. On the mix, on the box, it says half a cup of oil. The other swap is to double the amount of fat. In this case, I use melted butter instead of the oil. So instead of half a cup, I use 1 cup, which is 2 sticks. Now you want to mix your eggs in first before adding the butter because it's, you know, warm, maybe even hot because you melted it. And if you put it in there right after the eggs or with the eggs, it may cook your eggs. Don't ask me how I know that. But trust me, mix your eggs in there, make sure they're well combined, then add that warm melted butter. And for me, I usually add that melted butter as the last ingredient. Now it's just a matter of getting all that butter in there, mixing it really well, and you'll see that I'll stop it and try to mix around on the sides, stir it up a little bit, especially in the bottom, to make sure I'm getting everything mixed in there. Stand mixers are a wonderful thing, but you do need to stop and make sure you're getting everything incorporated in there. And you don't want to overmix, because if you overmix, you know, you'll end up with a really tough, dense cake. I think in the cake mix it says mix for like 2 minutes. When I first started baking, I would actually put a timer on my phone and time myself. Now, Baker's Joy, that is my go-to. Instead of using oil and flour or butter and flour, all you need is Baker's Joy, because it's got the oil and the flour in there. And the Bundt pan I'm using, and I'll put a link in the description, it's a Nordic ware. And it's a lightweight Bundt pan. And I'll tell you what, first time I used it, I was a little concerned and like, this isn't going to do the trick. But I love Nordic ware Bundt pans. You see it's almost white because I sprayed so much in there. And then I take a tissue and wipe around the rim. Any excess spray, I wipe it off. My trash can was right there. I just threw it in the trash can. I like having my trash can next to me and open, so as I'm cooking or baking, any trash I have, I just throw it away. Now I want to move everything out of the way. I have unplugged the mixer. You never want to be handling anything with the mixer once I'm done mixing everything and it still be plugged in. Now it's just a matter of pouring the batter in, and I kind of turn my Bundt pan around a little bit to make it a little easier to get it in there, the batter in there. Turning it again. I try to get it evenly dispersed in the Bundt pan. And then I'm trying to get all the batter out of there. There we go. Wipe my hands a little bit. And you fill your Bundt pan up to no more than 3/4 full, and then you shake it like I'm doing here on the counter. That helps get out any air bubbles in your batter. Now this is an old cookie sheet that I don't cook on any food, but I will put my cake pans on there in case it overflows. I had one overflow once in the oven and it was a hot mess. Now here's the cake. It's fully cooked and it's sitting on a little stainless steel rack. It actually came with my Ninja Foodie pressure cooker, and I use it when I'm cooling off my cakes. Here's my cake tester. I love this thing. Instead of using toothpicks, I use this. And you test your cakes in the center. There it went in. A little blurry there, but it came out clean. Another way to tell when your cakes are done is it's pulling away from the sides. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Now we're gonna flip it out. I usually take it out of the oven, let it sit on that rack for like 15 to 20 minutes. And then I let it flip it out like I'm getting ready to do now. Then I'll let it sit for about an hour before I frost it. Now let's pull away and see what we got. And there it is. That is a pretty cake. And this cake pan that I'm using, it all came with the Nordic Ware Bundt pan. Work of art. There's nothing as satisfying as making a Bundt, and it comes out pretty clean, severed a little bit on the top, and it's just a beautiful picture. Now I've cleaned it, and you see how easy it was to clean up and how clean I got it, thanks to that Baker's Joy. Just showing you the bottom of it, and that it's lightweight, like I said earlier. And this is the cake keeper that came with the Bundt pan. I have several of these. I think I have like 4 sets. And this is another one I have. I think the Bundt pan that came with this was actually blue. The one that came with this white set that I'm using today is that like bronze golden color. Now here's my frosting. It's corresponding frosting that goes with the cake mix from Duncan Hines. When I use cakes from the box mix, I use Duncan Hines. That's my little spatula to help me frost. I'm gonna tell you something, I cannot ice or frost a cake worth anything, so I'm just giving you fair warning. This is a plastic chopstick that I bought, and I like to use the fatter end. That's actually the end that you hold. I poke holes in my Bundt cakes because I want the frosting to get down in there, add more flavor, and it gets it even more moist. So you can see I'm going all the way around, poking holes in it. Now you don't have to do this step, it's just something I do because I like it and my family likes it when the frosting gets down in the cake. Then I go on the inside of it. Then I'm going to go on the outside again, lower section. And again, poking these holes is not a necessary step, it's just something that I do. Just showing you that, all the holes that are poked in there. And it's still a beautiful cake. Now, my frosting, of course, you're going to take that aluminum foil wrapper that's, when you take the red lid off, there's that wrapper, aluminum foil, you take that off. And I had it in the microwave because it was solid, so now it's a liquid, so I can pour it. I want to make it pourable. This is another hack that I saw on TikTok. A young man was making a cake for his wife. He had never made a cake before, and he's like me, doesn't know how to frost or ice the cake. So he said, I wonder if I nuke it and make it pourable, what will that do? And that blew my mind when I saw him do that. Because it works. So here I am pouring it around. And I got this one, I think, a little bit too liquidy, but it's still going to turn out really good. And I'm trying to get as much of the cake coated with the frosting as I'm pouring it as possible. And then I'm going to use that cake froster spatula that I showed you sitting over there on the red lid to move the frosting around a little bit. I just want to get everything out of there. Now, I have noticed that when I put my frosting in the microwave to make it pourable or liquidy, the volume increases. And I've heard that if you put your frosting out of the jar in your KA and mix it up, that'll also increase the volume. So that's another step or technique you can use. I've not used that yet because I'm lazy. I like using the microwave. Besides, once I get the cake in the oven, I clean up my mixer, the attachment and all that. As you can see, it's already cleaned and put away there. Now I'm just going to take my spatula and go around, and any spots that I see that the icing didn't hit on the cake, I'm going to make sure that I get icing on it. And I'm using the word icing and frosting interchangeable. Now, anybody out there who's a really good person that can frost or ice a cake, give me some hints, some tips, something. Or if there's a book you recommend, or even a YouTube video or channel, let me know, because I would love to learn how to properly frost a cake. But until then, this is what I do. Now I'm going in to make sure that I'm covering up the holes and making sure that the inside of the cake, and see how the frosting has settled in the middle there. I'm bringing it up, I'm covering up the holes. Now I know this looks crazy and you're thinking probably, oh man, this is a horrible frosting or icing job, and it is, don't get me wrong, but the end result's going to be beautiful. Now I'm just taking excess icing, covering up the holes a little bit and making sure that it's getting down actually in the holes and thus inside the cake. And this is how I do all of my bundt cakes. And even when I do a layer cake, I do the same with, this technique of melting the frosting in the microwave and pouring it over. That sounded like a little cat, didn't it? That's the cake tray as I'm turning it. Now I know some of you may ask, why didn't I use lemon flavor when I put the vanilla in there? I've done that before and it made it too lemony. Is that a word? I don't know. Too tart. So then I tried 2 tablespoons of vanilla instead of 2 tablespoons of lemon, and that was the trick. I keep saying that one day I'm going to try doing 1 tablespoon of each. 1 tablespoon lemon, 1 tablespoon vanilla, but I haven't tried it yet. Now presentation matters, so any excess icing there I'm wiping up with a towel. I'm serving this to my siblings, but I want it to look nice. And I take pride in my product, so that's why I'm wiping it up. Also, you don't want the lid to get any excess icing, because then it'll be a mess on the lid. Okay, here's the finished product. I know all of you out there who really know how to frost or ice the cake, you're thinking it looks like a hot mess. Me personally, I would eat that in a minute. And here it is with the lid on it, just showing you what it looks like. And here it is, getting ready to take a bite of it. You can look at it and tell how moist it is. See how the fork went in there? It's so moist. And this tasted so good. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.